Hello, how are you? I want you to like this page and share it. And because I want to share with you some wisdom that my mother shared with me years ago, that sometimes, and I don't know if you've ever done this, I did not adhere to it. I did not understand the wisdom of it when I was younger, but now I know how valuable it was. I want you to like this page and share it because I got a message for you. And the message is, mind your business. Wherever we were in Miami, wherever we moved, Mamie Brown, my mother, God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. Mamie Brown had fixed on her mirror, no matter where we moved to, from Liberty City to Overtown, back and forth, promising rent. She adopted, first of all, foster kids, 7 foster kids, and then ultimately when we were in our teens, we were adopted. And she had this sign on her mirror, and the sign read, "Oh Lord, help me keep my long nose out of other people's business." Now listen, I'm human just like everybody else. And I was looking at all the political news that's out here now, which is very distracting, very divisive. And then I stopped to ask myself, is this my business? I'm going to vote. I'm going to encourage other people to vote. I'm going to encourage people to register. After that, I have no control. And regardless of who gets in, Republicans or Democrats, I'm going to have to adapt. And I've always done that. And you've always done that. I'm just spending hours listening to conversations constantly. Is Biden going to drop out? And most of the people who are watching have dropped out of their own lives. They're not an active force in their lives. I dropped out watching it because all the time that I spent watching and focusing on and just taking in all this news about politics and religion has always been used to control people, to keep them at each other's throats, and keep people distracted from themselves. I know better. And I could hear my mother saying, mind your own business. And so guess what I did? I started focusing on that. I turned the television off, number one. I went to the gym, got me a membership. Let me tell you something. I've been working. Listen, don't come for me. Look, I got muscles up in here. Yes, I ain't. Don't let this 79 fool you, baby. No, look here. Let me tell you something. I went because as you get older, you have to develop muscles. So I'm in the gym working out. These young guys looking at me saying, I can't believe he's 79. Oh, I can pump some weights and everything. I'm doing my curls and all that. Look here, come on up in here. Why? I got a strategy that as you get older, your heart, your lungs, and your thighs, your muscles are very important for you to be independent. My goal is to be independent beyond 100. My mentor, Mike Williams, his mother's 103 or 4, and she drives and she lives by herself. She's independent. And so that doesn't just happen. You have to have a game plan for that. And positioning myself so that I won't be a burden to my children, that I could wipe my own behind. No, he didn't go there. Yes, he did. Yeah, because I don't know if they love me like that. No, I know they're gonna take care of their mother, but they ain't gonna do that for me. No, You know, I heard this message. Lady said, Brene Brown. She said, nobody's coming. Don't be asking for help. Stop complaining. Nobody's coming. And that's real. So this is a time that we have to adapt. This is the time that we have to focus on our well-being, on our peace of mind, on our health, on relationships that you can look at, and as my son John Leslie would ask, who should you count on and who should you count out? There are people that are parasitic. They're always taking, but they give nothing. They're family members and friends. Time to evaluate and look at, hey, you got to have a what if strategy. What if I had a car accident and I was incapacitated? Who's going to cover that? You don't know. Life is unpredictable. It's uncertain. And so what's most important, and my son said to me, and I take exception to this, Calvin, oh, Dad, go on, but don't talk too long. Do you tell the people who are spreading ignorance, don't talk too long? Are you telling people who are doing these stupid pranks, don't get on the internet, don't do that? Are you telling people who are out here talking and can't say 3 words between their brain and their mouth without profanity? Negative information is 17 times more powerful than positive information. I'm fighting darkness. I'm fighting ignorance. You know, Bob Proctor said the reason that most people are where they are is because of ignorance. When he said that, that got me. I was at his seminar, and God bless his soul. And he said, the only reason that you're earning $5,000 a month is because you haven't figured out, because of your ignorance of what you don't know, how to earn $5,000 a day. Whoa, that hit me. And so what I started doing and saying to myself, wait a minute, he puts his pants on one leg at a time like I do. He used oxygen to breathe just like I do. If he's figured out how to earn $5,000 a day, and I was earning around $3,000 or $4,000 a month, I said, I need to deal with this. I need to learn, and I went on a journey to expand my vision. I'll give you all your eyes can see. The reason that many people are spending their times engaged in arguments, what do you think, he's going to drop out? Is because they're in the valley of mediocrity. But the people who call the shots, the people that have money, they don't care who gets into the White House because it doesn't affect them. And so we should be focused on how do we begin to upgrade our knowledge and our skills so that we are adaptable to be able to embrace this new place where we are of accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition. Peter Drucker had a point. We must be willing to unlearn, learn, and relearn. What do you mean by that? That the things that we know now in this new world order and this major disruption won't serve us. These old keys will not open up new doors of opportunity that will be created by artificial intelligence. No. That we're made in the likeness and image of God. It doesn't get any better than that. And if you focus, listen to me, and for those of you that can't hear me and say, oh, come on, you old man, you don't know what you're talking about, keep strolling. I'm not for you. Let me share something with you. Why I'm going to speak longer than 10 minutes or 15 minutes, because the negative programming on the internet and on television is 24/7. MIT did a study. I do a lot of research. I know what I'm talking about. MIT did a study, and the study indicated that if I say to you, you can't do something, that somebody else has to come along and say, don't listen to him, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, 17 times to neutralize that one time. Negative comments, negative information is 17 times more powerful than positive information, and it stays in your mind longer. That's why we have to begin to unplug from the world. Be ye not conformed to this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, and invest in things that can renew your mind and allow you to step outside of your mental conditioning and begin to live into your imagination. Yes, evil prevails when we allow people who are of darkness, who don't have anything else to do with their time but do pranks and be on television and the internet talking about things that don't have nothing to do with us. So I'm minding my business. I'm taking care of my health. I'm building muscles. I'm reading 30 to 40 pages of something positive every day. I'm learning each day how to leverage technology to work for me and in my business and save me more time. Have a game plan to live over 100 and be active and engaged like Mrs. Williams, Mike Williams' mother. And so when you look at the people that are going to be successful now, those are the people that are minding their business. Since I stopped looking at television and all the politics and engaging in conversation, I got a nephew that I knew him before he knew himself. And he has an issue with me because I don't believe as he believes. Isn't it interesting how that there are people who can't just disagree and yet still be agreeable? Isn't that interesting? That all of a sudden, that you don't like me because of a stand that I'm taking that's different than your stand? Listen, this is, I mean, we're playing into the hands of the people who are controlling and manipulating people through religion and politics. I saw a minister believe this. This blew my mind. I must have watched it about 6 or 7 times to my detriment. He's selling real estate in heaven. And people were putting money in, giving him money so that he can buy land for them in heaven. Words cannot encompass the limit, and describe the level of craziness that's being used to manipulate people. Focus on a promise of living after they die. Behold, the kingdom of God is at hand. You create your heaven or hell right here on earth. Let me tell you what to do to prevent the enemy from taking advantage of you. Excuse me? No, the enemy is in me. There's an African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. I've been hearing this stuff for years. But the people that are making the decisions, the people that are creating wealth in spite of the disruptions, they're adapting. They're adapting. They're upgrading their skills. They're upgrading their relationships. They're letting certain relationships go. There's some people in your life are so parasitic, if you never see them again, it'll be too soon. And let me share something with you that Maya Angelou said. She said, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. I had a person that I thought was my friend, a person that I did some stuff for. And this person tried to say, hey, look, there's a contract that's going to be coming to you. I know this guy. He's a good person. I'm going to come over and you can sign the contract. I said, okay. But there was a still small voice that it's better to be safe than sorry. I called my attorney. I said, look at this. He said, man, throw that contract in the trash can. Now, some of you might say, what did you say to her when she showed up for your signature? Nothing. I said, I pass. Why didn't you tell her or ask her, why did you try and rip me off like that? I don't ask those questions. When someone does something to me, I don't ask them, why did they do it? Because there's nothing that they're going to say that I say, oh, now I understand. No, they did it because they want to, because it's to their advantage. I'm encouraging you, listen to me. I know a thing or two. I've been on the planet for 79 years. This place where we are, it's no place to be intimidated. This is a place to be inspired. That we were born and preserved for such a time as this. I'm doing an event in Los Angeles, October the 11th and 12th. And you know what it's about? You were built for this. We were built for this. No matter what happens, no matter whoever gets in the White House, trust me on that we have the ability to handle it. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet, with a studied beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We've come over a way that with tears have been watered. We've come treading a path through the blood of the slaughtered. Yeah. I remember when I was at WVKL radio station in Columbus, Ohio. And Eddie Saunders, who was a gospel DJ. And Eddie was probably around 72 or 73. And I just been brought up from Miami to go to WVKL radio station. And I heard that Eddie used to be a boxer. So at this time, I'm like 28, 29. I said, Eddie, I heard you used to box. He said, yes, that's right. I said, you know what? I ought to run over there and slap you side the head. He said, yeah, I think you should too. Well, let me share something with you. You might run over here, but you will limp back. Okay, I said, okay, Eddie, I'm not gonna run over there. Oh my God. See, there are people who have it in for you. There are people who want to take advantage of us. There's no question about that. It's called life. Think it not strange that you'll face the fiery furnaces of this world. You will have tribulations. You will have enemies. You will have people working against you. You will have people trying to capitalize and take advantage of you. You will have people trying to deny you and put things in place so you can exercise your ability to vote. Why, Les? That's the way it is. And what we must do is adapt and deal with it. This is no time to follow the crowd. Be ye not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. I can't tell you the number of people that I'm talking to that are angry, that are anxious and fearful, and many who feel hopeless. No, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of power and of love and of sound mind. You can't be in a sound mind when you are anxious, when you are ignorant, when you are not adaptable, when you're not flexible, when you're not putting on the whole armor of faith, determination, relentlessness, passion, purpose, and meaning in your life. No. See, life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. You look at the people who put this 2025 together, they ain't playing. They're working 24/7. They ain't playing. And guess what? We aren't playing either. I got grandchildren. I got great-grandchildren. And so we must live our lives in such a way to leave a legacy, to leave the world in better shape than how our children and our grandchildren will find it. Being anxious and scared and spinning around in circles, looking at politicians lying out both sides of their mouths. No, this time we want to be responsible, we want to be engaged and handle your business. I got more done since I turned that television on. I got more done in my studio. I got more done and going to the gym and exercising. I got more done spending time with my twin brother that we're going to finish life together. Got more time because I'm not giving space to things that don't contribute to my mental health and well-being. When you watch negative stuff, don't believe that foolishness about garbage in, garbage out. No, garbage in and garbage stays, and it shows up in your attitude. If your health is challenged and you are not mindful of who's around you and what your environment is, and you have not set it up to strengthen you, to encourage you, to give you hope and determination and the capacity to fight, you'll be out of here. I can't tell you the number of people who call me, hey, my father's got prostate cancer like you had, and he's scared. He's getting his affairs in order, as the doctor said, that his PSA, which stands for prostate specific antigen, is 46. I said, put him on the telephone. I said, hello, sir. Are you coachable? He said, what do you mean by that? Are you willing to hear what I'm going to share with you? Yeah. I said, do you want to live? He said, of course. No. You said that too fast. I said, you've been told to get your affairs in order. What's your battle plan? You don't understand, man. I have prostate cancer. It's outside of the capsule. And she said my PSA is 46. No, it's 92. And I've been told to get my affairs in order. I said, listen to me. My PSA was 2,400. Don't interrupt me when I'm talking to you, because I'm not buying into what your doctor told you. He's out of his lane. He determines the diagnosis. Only God and you can determine the prognosis. I'm not interested in your conversation, because you've never been in this space where I am right now. So you're not qualified to interrupt me. I'm a 36-year fourth stage cancer conqueror, verified by Cancer Centers of America. I received their Perseverance Award. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just making this up. See, in the beginning was the Word. See, trust me on this. If you're listening to words that don't build you up, if you're listening to words that don't encourage you, if you're listening to words that don't inspire you and bring the best out of you, that has an impact. I'm telling you what I know. And so the reason many of our kids are jacked up and have no sense of purpose and meaning in life is because they've been listening to foolishness day in and day out, delivered with a musical bass that takes it past the conscious mind to the subconscious mind, and their minds are infected with a virus. Don't have enough gumption and sense of decency to pull their pants up. They have that hood rat mentality, HIV, a hood rat mentality. Don't have a sense of purpose and meaning. Just focus on, like I was when I was young, having a good time. I'll put the P in party. I ain't trying to pretend that I'm talking about my pre-saved years, okay? But I had something happen that brought me to my senses when my mother got sick. That changed everything, because I promised her, you took us in as foster kids, you adopted us, you didn't have to. When you leave here, I will be at your side. I'll be there for you. And we have to think about the kind of impact that our lives can make, and not wasting our times not learning. You know, they're calling Alzheimer's the third degree of diabetes. Let me tell you what I did. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. They prescribe insulin, and that was it. I was going listening when they would talk to me, give my evaluation, cough, okay, yeah, we'll feel your back. Okay, let me feel your ankle. Okay, and I'm there 10 minutes and they're out. And I thought, you're not going to ask me how I'm doing? I'm injecting stuff in my body. I don't know what it is. Is this my destiny, taking these pills, taking these shots? Listen, nobody's going to care more about you, Les Brown, than you. So I'm off insulin. And I was on numerous medications. I'm down to 3. And I didn't ask their permission. This is my body. And I believe in traditional medicine and alternative medicine. But listen, physician, heal thyself. At most doctors, and there are a lot of them that's dedicated, but see you as a transaction. They're not going to care more about me than I care about myself. They ask me, what amount of insulin you're taking? I'm not taking it anymore. I don't need it. They didn't ask, how did you do it? They just said, oh, okay. And what about this? And what about this? No, I'm not taking metformin either. And your PSA, it's below 0. Wow. They call this prostate specific antigen. I call it positively staying alive by monitoring my health and my mind and paying attention to my well-being. I'm encouraging you to do that. This time that we have to be vigilant. And knowing, regardless of what's happening, we have to increase our learning. We have to spend less time throwing time away for things that cannot enhance you, cannot particularly enhance your health, cannot give you peace. I'll keep thee in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. It cannot create harmony. I asked my relative, do you know who you're talking to? Are you telling me you're against me because I disagree with you on a policy? Come on. I want to know, I want to get some comments from those of you that have heard me speak so far, because I ain't through yet. Yes. Listen, Sharon, my executive assistant. Hey, Sharon. Hey. People have any comments on what I've said?
Yes. Hold on.
Okay, turn the background down. Look, I can hear my voice in the background. Yeah, I want to know what you're saying. I want to hear how this is landing. I know some of you it's not landing well. Some of you have ignored me and gone on. That's fine. But there's some of you that can hear me. Tell me what you're hearing or what you're reading.
Michelle is saying fight, fight, fight.
Listen, hold a minute. Somebody, and this encouraged me, somebody said, wait a minute. One day the bandage was on one ear, the next day was on another ear. They didn't say anything about that in the news. I said, I don't care about that. I ain't going up in there. I'm not going there. No, I'm focusing on me. I'm handling my business. I know that I have not done my best work. I know that God is not through with me yet. I've got some young men that I've got to train and develop and teach them how to use their communication skills in their brains beyond playing basketball or football or being an entertainer. And there's nothing wrong with those professions. But your ability to communicate, a man who changed my life, Mr. Leroy Washington, he said, Mr. Brown, develop your mind. You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Mr. Brown, yes, sir. He said, develop your communication skills, because once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. Mr. Brown, yes, sir. Practice OQP, and this is very important. What does that mean, sir? Only quality people. Who you run with will determine who you end up with. Mama used to say, that birds of a feather flock together. You know how many good kids coming out of good homes got in the wrong company and ended up going down the wrong path? A very good friend of mine started hanging around people who were doing heroin when I was coming up, and marijuana, we called it during that time reefer, and he's out of here, overdose, around the wrong people. This is a time you have to be selective of your relationships. Surround your people that you can learn from, that you can grow from, that will hold you accountable to a higher standard. What other comments do they have, Sharon?
Michelle James said, it is our business when it's our right and responsibility. Topics that are volatile are politics and religion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why people say don't argue about politics or religion, because you can't win. There are people who have no justification for the stand that they're taking, even if it doesn't work for them. I remember this quote: a person convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. I don't argue with people. I know what I know. I'm still here at 79. You know how many people that didn't see 79? Out of here. When I was young, we used to go to funerals of old people. Now, we're going to funerals of young people. Judge a tree by the fruit it bears. You can tell the state of a community based upon what is going on in that community. When you look at certain cities across the country where people just running in jewelry stores and bursting the jewelry counters and taking merchandise, or running into clothing stores or grocery stores and take it out like they own it and get an attitude when they get caught. This is a new kind of crazy we are seeing now, with a K. And so there's a reason that a lot of people are anxious and angry and on alert, because this environment has changed. But environments are created by people, and they can be changed by people. That's why I'm doing the Less Round Youth program, to help these young men to get outside of the thinking of HIV, hood-infected virus, AIDS, addiction to incarceration, and death syndrome. They see it as a badge of honor. Oh, I got street cred. I did a nickel. Talking to young men, you did a nickel? What do you mean? I knew what he talked about. Yeah, I did 5 years. Oh, you did a nickel. So your life, in your own estimation, is only worth a penny a year. You did a nickel. You think Malcolm X took the bullets and Dr. King took the bullets and all the other heroes so you can throw your life away? You took a nickel. This one, oh man, he did 15 cents. Oh, he did 15 years. Wow. You know what? I'm in the wrong room, because y'all said that with such pride. I'm in the wrong room. If this works for you, bye. Bye-bye. I'm not gonna waste my time. Don't speak where you don't have a listener. There's a book called The Kabbalion. The lips of the wise are sealed to the ears of the ignorant. Come out from among them. There's some people that will pull you down before you can pick them up. That's why you got to be dangerous in terms of protecting yourself, to say, no, I'm not the one. Stephanie, what else other people are saying? Sharon, excuse me, Sharon. I got Stephanie on the brain.
I know you need to talk to her.
I do. I will. I'll call her today.
Monica Sowell says, great work, great word, friend. Good to see you.
It's good to be seen. Thank you, Monica. Who else?
Christine says, thank you for sharing this awesome information.
You're reading kind of slow. I remember you were in special education with me, weren't you?
Oh my God. Throwing shade. That's what we're doing today?
Yeah, that's what we're doing today, Sharon. Yes.
And Michelle is very engaging. She also said, I'm scrolling, that's why I'm reading like that. She
Whatever.
said, even God says, behold, he's doing a new thing. Can we not perceive it?
First of all, God is not going to do anything for you that he can't do through you. When you think about where we are, and people are hanging on, oh, God is going to do a new thing in my life. You got to give God something to work with. It says, commit thy works unto the Lord. Works, internal work and external work, and thy thoughts shall be established. You've got to discipline your mind. Be ye not conformed to this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You've got to be willing to commit to a work. That's your calling. A job is what you get paid for. A calling is what you're made for. I was made to do this. And some of you watching me, you identify with me because what's in me is also in you. When the disciples were amazed at the miracles that the Jewish carpenter performed, he said, these things ye shall do, and greater things shall ye do. You are the answer in your life. You have greatness in you. You can do more than what you've done thus far, but you must challenge yourself. You must do the internal work to overcome the programming that we've been taking in and downloaded for generations. When you live in a culture that does not recognize humanity, when you go out the house and we have to tell our kids, our young males, be careful. Don't give the police mouth if they stop you, and even if they're wrong, don't talk back. They got a gun and they're trigger happy and they got backup. Be polite, be respectful. I see guys cursing the police out. Who the police? They were wrong. I wouldn't curse somebody out that has a gun. And more than willing to use it. Let me tell you something happened. I've got to take you back to my disc jockey years. I used to be on WVKL radio station in Columbus, Ohio. And Al Green, y'all heard of Al Green. Al Green had a song called Backup Train. It was his first recording. And so I had booked and got a contract to bring Al Green to town, but a guy heard about the promotion and he came in masquerading himself as Al Green. And I said, when I saw the promotion, this guy is a phony. I said, do not go to the Jamaica Club on Mount Vernon Avenue. This is not the real Al Green. I talked to him. He's not coming on the date that this guy is promoting. So he told some people, you know, that guy Les Brown got a big mouth. If I ever see him, I'm gonna knock him in the mouth. Well, during that time, I'm young, 35, think I'm bad. I was in the car with my son, Calvin. I'm sure he can remember this, driving down Main Street. And I saw this dude from the pictures on the poster. I said, Calvin, I'll be right back. I pulled over. He said, where you going? I said, this guy, he put out some word that he's going to knock me in the mouth. I'm gonna make this sucker back it up. So I went up to him and I said, hey, phony Al Green, I'm Les Brown. And he looked at me and he moved his coat back and I saw his gun and I said, I just want you to know I didn't mean no harm. And I went and got back in the car. My son Calvin said, Dad, what happened? I said, son, it's better to speak and run away than and have the ability to fight another day. Today, your dad couldn't get in a fight. This guy had a gun. I didn't have nothing. I drove my butt home. I didn't talk about him no more either. I said, oh, that's how you roll? Okay. No. I see people talking to cops, and 35% of them documented crazy, have mental illness, and you're going to curse them out? You're going to call them pigs and punks? No, absolutely not. These police departments are permeated with white supremacists and Klan members. No, they'll be happy to take you out because the judges are on their side, the prosecuting attorney is on their side, and the jury is on their side. You're in a no-win situation. It's ignorant to be disrespectful of people who have guns and who are more than willing to take you out. It'll be their pleasure. Our young men need to be trained. If you stop, like I've been stopped, I said, show me your license. Sir, it's right here on the dashboard. I took it out before you got out of your car. And my insurance is right here on the dashboard. And my hand's on the steering wheel so you can see them. Pass me your license. Sir, I want to go home. And you want to go home. I'm keeping my hands on the steering wheel so you don't say people like you kill people like me. I thought he was reaching for a gun. It's close to you and it's in reaching distance, sir. I'm not moving my hands off this. And he said, oh. And he checked my license, gave me my ticket, and I went on about my business. I lived, paid the ticket off, but I'm not going to let it cost me my life. No. Doing some stuff that just doesn't make sense. And I understand that. I've done it. And people say experience is the best teacher. No, wisdom is the best teacher. There's some things that you want to look and learn from other people's mistakes. You don't want to make all the mistakes yourself. But most importantly, I'm encouraging you. This is why I'm having this conversation. Number one, I want you to listen to things that are positive every day. And if that's you, I'm going to give you an email and I'm going to send you as a gift. And this is no upsell. I'm not looking for clients. I'm set. But I believe that evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. Evil prevails when we don't counteract it with something positive. What's the URL or what's the website that they can go to and leave their information? And I want you to send out Choosing Your Future. What is it, Sharon?
It's lesbrowngreatnesstours.org. Les
Brown Greatness Tours. I'm doing a tour. First tour will be in LA, and that date is October, right?
11th through the 13th.
October the 11th through the 13th at the Marriott Airport Marriott Hotel. Yes. So say it again. It's Les Brown Greatness Tours.
.org. That's for the free gift.
Yeah. Hold a minute. .org. That's Greatness Tours. TOURS.
.org. That's for the free
.org.
gift.
Yes, that's for the free gift. I don't want to give them the other. No, just that. And I'm going to send you some of my motivational stuff that if you listen to it every day, I can't tell you the number of people who've called me and said, Les Brown, thank you. And I got a peanut in my hand. And I don't want to give it away. It's in that first recording called It's Possible. I talk about George Washington Carver. But we need, and I want you to spread it to other people. We need to create a different kind of environment for ourselves. If we're not getting it from the internet and we're not getting it from television, then we can create it ourselves. This is the space in where we are. We must leverage communities together of greatness to sharpen our minds, to increase our skill set, learning and leveraging artificial intelligence, and creating communities of collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships. Finding people who have talents and skills that you don't have. You can do this. We can do this. We were born and preserved for such a time as this. We were built for this. And Donald Lawrence says, he has a new song coming out. That's a bad brother, up it here, up it here. And I'm saying to you, as I talk to you about having a positive mindset, As I talk to you about learning to adapt, that it's not as important who's in the White House as to who's in your house. And creating collaborative, achievement-driven, supportive relationships, communities of greatness. It might not make sense what I'm saying, but as Donna Lawrence would say, it makes faith. It makes faith to call forth those things that be not as though they were.
Focus is important.
Yes.
What I love about what you said was when you were talking about the distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Back when you were a kid, how many channels were there on TV?
3.
You had 3 distractions.
Yes.
How many YouTube videos have you watched today?
None.
You watch 30 YouTube videos every morning.
Oh, I thought the how many channels.
Oh, yeah. You don't watch TV.
No,
you don't have a television.
Yeah.
We don't watch TV in this household.
No.
You know why?
Because what you look at, what you tune into, what you listen to, you turn into. All right? Yeah. No, what you listen to, what you watch, you turn into. Yes, sir.
And what has happened as time has grown, as new technologies emerge, guess what? It becomes tougher and tougher to have focus.
Yes.
So that is right. You need to focus on your dreams. That's why we're inviting you to New York on August 14th, if you're going to be there. You need to focus on your family. That's why this is a family affair. If you want to be a part of the first Family of Motivation and our first event since the pandemic. And here's something that's important. You need to focus more on your destiny than you are to your distraction.
That's real.
You know what happens when you focus? You tune out the world around you, and you start to identify something. You get laser focused, as Miss Lisa Nichols would say, and then after focus comes faith. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Faith. Faith stands for what, Dad?
Finding
answers in the hard. Yes. What does it mean? Why are you going to focus? Because it's hard to make it today if you don't know how to take control of your own mind. And that's what Les Brown's going to help you to do at the Hungry for Greatness event. How to reclaim your power so that you can tap into the power of faith. How do you become the #1 motivator in the world? How do you have millions of fans, not because of how you shoot a ball or how you dribble or how fast you drive or any type of athlete, but because your words help them to believe in themselves.
And change lives.
And change lives. You know what, Dad? Right now, coming out of a pandemic when the suicide rate has risen over 14%, when
in the military over 50%.
In the military over 50%, when you can turn on almost any channel and see death and disruption and war and misogyny, it's very rare that you can be a part of an event that boosts your faith. Talk to people about why they need to have faith in themselves.
If you want to achieve your goals, you have to see the value of making a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to feed your faith, as Creflo Dollar would say, and allow your doubts to starve to death. When you look at where we are right now, that most people have lost themselves. This is a time to keep your commitment to your faith in your faith.
Today it's going to be focused on mindset. See, at the end of the day, if you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. Dr. Carter G. Woodson said, if you can determine what a man shall think, you never have to concern yourself with what he will do. He said, if you can make a man feel inferior, never have to compel him to seek an inferior status, for he will seek it himself. And if you can make a man feel justly an outcast, never have to order him to go to the back door, he'll go without being told. And if there's no door, his very nature will demand one. Well, what we're going to do is help people to change what I call the private voice, that subconscious mind that has been given to us by the world, and how to begin to overcome that negative thinking that's caused most of us to sabotage ourselves unconsciously. It's going to be a day focused on that, beginning to restructure the thinking and give people a vision of themselves beyond their circumstances and mental conditions. I'm excited about this experience and what we're going to provide, and we're going to be keeping you informed as the day progresses.